And just to say, folks, the Zen Peacemaker order that Bernie Glassman started is a lineage within the overall umbrella of the Maizumi Roshi lineage. So, for example, Sandra Roshi is a teacher in the White Pluma Sangha, which is the association of teachers in the Maizumi Roshi lineage, of which there's probably just less than 200 or so. I think when I saw it at one point, there was 180 people or so worldwide. So part of the Zen Peacemaker function is that there are three primary tenets that are lived with and applied. The first of these is called not knowing. So it's a commitment to not knowing, relaxing, giving up our fixed ideas about ourselves, about others, and about how the universe works. So it's really coming to a fundamental sense of I don't know. And with that I don't know, virtually every possibility arises. If there's no preconception, if there's no preference, then we have a full array of possibilities as responses. The second tenet is bearing witness. So committing ourselves to bearing witness to the joy and the suffering of all people, of ourselves, and of the universe. So we're witnessing this as cleanly and purely as we can. This means, again, we're willing to put down our particular ideas, our conceptual structuring of the universe, and we're willing to bear witness in an open, unconditioned manner. And then when we take these first two precepts, the not knowing, or tenets, the not knowing and the bearing witness, then that leads to the third tenet, which is taking action. We take action based upon what arises from not knowing and from bearing witness. And this is where, as Sandra Roshi was saying, Bernie became committed to feeding the homeless of Yonkers. So this was his taking action based upon not knowing what to do, how to do, how to service the homeless population, but also bearing witness to their suffering, and that there wasn't enough being offered that was tangible. Part of what he did was he started the Greystone Bakery, where he employed predominantly the homeless. There were some people I've heard were also addicts who were out of recovery, and then there were folks who were on parole from prison. So all these folks, different folks, working together, and they were trained to work all aspects of the bakery. It wasn't like they were given the janitor jobs or the dishwashing jobs. They did everything. And this was a way that money was raised in order to provide housing and all the different services that they could try and offer. So he really put his action and quite literally his money where his mouth was in doing this. And as Sandra Roshi said, he also offered these street retreats. They'd be 7-day sesshin on the streets of New York or Washington, D.C., as I recall. I never did one of these. And then he also did one, a bearing witness at Auschwitz each year. That still continues. I get the emails for those. So people go and they meditate at Auschwitz for a week. And one of the conflicts, let's say, that arose on one of these trips was when Bernie recommended people shift from meditating, in effect doing metta or other practices for those who were housed at Auschwitz. Bernie had them focus on the Nazi guards. And just to say, my understanding is Bernie, who was Jewish, had relatives who died in the camps. So it wasn't as though he didn't have a real connection to the camps and the effect of the camps. But he got that even the Nazis have to be prayed for. They have to be included. They're part of the absolute. They're functioning, in my view, as delusion, but nonetheless, they are representations of the absolute. So we do include everyone. That's part of the process, both in terms of our taking action and also our applying the precepts.